What's up, guys? This is Behind the Golf Brand podcast. This week, I have the CEO. The CEO of golf is here. My buddy Remec Carlson. We're gonna go through everything on how he grew his brand, how he's blown up so much on social, and just how we even met each other. So I'm really excited to have him on the show. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Thank you for having me, man. I'm excited.
All right, so I'm excited too, because so this is what happened. Maybe just before I even start asking the dumb questions, this is how we met, right? So we're at the PGA show in February, and I see Remec, and I'm like, hey, that's the CEO of golf. I can just see by his hat, right? And I'm like, just CEO.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna go talk to this guy because I like what he's doing on social media. And then we started talking, and like right away, I think we were at whose booth was that? It was Dormy's booth. I
Yeah,
think
Dormy.
wasn't it
Yeah.
Dormy? Yeah, before that big party thing they had. But I met him and I met his brother. It was pretty cool. So we kind of hit it off, and so we've been kind of IMing back and forth on Instagram. So I was like, you have to be on the show, man. So where are you located?
So right now I am in Bradenton, Sarasota area in Florida, but I'm probably going to move to the Orlando area.
So how far is Orlando from where you're at now, and why do you want to go to Orlando?
It's just like an hour and a half away, and honestly, it's getting really freaking expensive here, dude. Like,
Really?
dude, Sarasota is one of the fastest or the largest growing cities in the U.S. right now. It's crazy,
I didn't know
and
that.
like real estate and rent is just skyrocketing. My rent like doubled within the last year. Like it's
That sucks.
nuts. So I need to find a new place, like cheaper place that I can get like more bang for my buck. So my rent is up here in the next couple months, and I'm probably gonna take it on over to Orlando. I have a lot of friends over in Orlando too, and maybe some good opportunities over there as well. There's a lot of other creators that are over in the West Palm area, and I don't make enough money to afford to like join any clubs over there yet. Yet is the key word. So I'm gonna kind of meet them in the middle, kind of go to Orlando, and then I'll have a kind of a shorter drive to West Palm if I want to like collab or anything.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, I feel like Orlando is a perfect place for content creation. I mean, I know there's a lot of YouTubers that are there, or at least in that northern, central and northern Florida area.
Mhm.
At least YouTubers. Um, but I mean, you can see it too, even on social, like who's there, who's playing together at
Yeah,
what's that golf course I just played at? There's that one golf course that's like, oh darn it, I went to something at the PGA show. It was a really fancy golf course, and they had some kind of thing there. I can't think of it, but I saw someone on social media was like playing there, doing a ton of content. I was like, that's a nice course. It's like a high. Is it a Hyatt? What was it? Darn it. Um, that's smart. I mean,
rattle some
is
stuff
it
off
cheaper to
right
live in
now.
Orlando?
Pardon?
Is it cheaper to live in Orlando then? Is it just cheaper
Yeah,
place to live?
surprisingly, like it's way cheaper. Like just looking on like Zillow, like I was looking on Zillow the other day, and it's like I could buy the same place for probably like $500 less a month. Like it's
And you're
insane.
probably never there, right? I mean, you're always like out traveling or you're
Exactly.
playing or you're there at night, I guess, sleeping. But I
Mhm.
mean, it's not like you're hanging out at home. You just need a
Yeah,
home
yeah,
base, right?
always on the road, dude. Like, and the Orlando airport is way more international too. Like, or it's like it has easier flights and more direct flights, like kind of over to the West Coast to where you're at, Arizona, and also LA. So I sometimes fly out of Orlando anyway, so it would only make sense to live right next to that airport. So
So,
I'll have to drive a lot.
so did you grow up in Florida?
No, I actually grew up in LA, and
Really?
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. Yeah, I grew up in LA in the Valley, a lot, kind of Northridge area, and played like junior golf all around there and all around the country, and went to school over here at FGCU, and kind of just been here ever since.
So, do you miss LA or not really?
No, not really. Florida's dope, man. Florida's dope. Like if I were to live in any other state, it'd probably be in Arizona. To be honest, like the golf in Florida and the golf in Arizona, like you can't beat it.
Um, so then that's what brought you to Florida was just to go to college. Was it like a full ride? They give you or what happened?
Yeah, so I went to University of Utah first, and then I transferred to Florida Gulf Coast University. So for some reason, I'm like, oh, I'll go to University of Utah because it's D1, and we get to play against like USC, Stanford, Oregon, everybody in the Pac-12 there, and I got a full ride there. And then I was like, damn,
For
I do
golf.
not, yeah, for golf. And I was
Wow.
like, damn, I do not like the snow. Like, get me the hell out of here. So I'm like, I need to find some warm place. And California, all the schools are so damn expensive, and they weren't really given any full
Super
rides.
competitive and like
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. And Florida, it was also pretty tight as well. But one of my buddies from junior golf and stuff also transferred there from Arkansas, and he was kind of talking to the coach for me, and
Oh, that's cool.
borderline illegal, but but no one's gonna care about some golfer. They all care about like the basketball and football players. So I was able to kind of transfer a lot easier over to Florida Gulf Coast University, and it was pretty dope, man. The campus is right on the water. It's also D1 too, so it kind of worked out, and it's a beautiful place down there. It's crazy.
So you were telling me earlier too, like, so you were trained by David Leadbetter, huh?
Yeah.
So is that when you were a
Exactly.
kid, or is that after college?
So in high school, I went to IMG Academy. Kind of got semi-recruited to play there, and it's like this like prestige academy that gets all these like athletes from all around the world, and it's almost like a hub to kind of like train like the best of the best type thing. So um, I kind of grew a relationship with David very early on, and he wasn't my coach like from the get go. I was coached by this other guy named David Whelan who coached like Peter Uline and Paul Kramer and stuff. And but me and David kind of hit it off really quick, and we just kind of became boys. And it just kind of grew into kind of a coaching relationship. He like would help me out from here to there, and I'm like, David, why don't you just coach me full time, man? And he's like, all right. So I still
That's
talk to him a
crazy.
lot. He lives here in Sarasota, so it's pretty easy to get a hold of him these days.
I mean, he's a very iconic coach. Like I'd say there's only probably about a handful of coaches that when you say somebody's name, they're like, oh, I know that is. Like
Yeah,
like not like, oh, it's a top 50 in the state of Arizona. It's like, who cares? Like, it's like,
right.
I want who's the top 10 in the world, or like, and you see these are the guys that are making videos, have big followings, have schools, have like, I mean, yeah, Dave Lever is the man. I mean, he's been
Yeah,
the man forever.
dude, forever. And funny enough, like he was one of the first coaches to like make a DVD set like in the '90s.
Really.
And that's kind of how he blew up is from media. Funny enough. So yeah,
Like, he's
he
very advanced thinker. Like, we're looking forward, right? Like, how do I separate myself from the pack, right? Of all these instructors.
absolutely. He's always trying to be innovative and find the next best thing, and stand out, and just not try to do kind of what everyone else is doing. Do his kind of walk on his own beat. Like he's the man. He knows a lot about the game and a lot about like marketing himself and growing himself as a brand.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the one thing too. I think golf coaches have a problem with is like branding themselves. Like, who are they, right? I mean, if you know Dave Leadbetter, it's because of his hat. Everybody knows that. I mean,
100%.
if he didn't wear that hat, he'd be like, oh, he was so and so's coach. But like everybody instantly knows, they can picture him in their head because he wears the same style hat all the time.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Similar to some people that I know.
Some people, let's say, they may or may not be on this podcast right now.
But that's sick, dude. This is so crazy. You guys watch. I mean, I know you guys probably already follow him on Instagram because he has a ton of followers. But
So,
like, you don't know anything about him, right? Like, you don't know
right.
how did he become good? Like, is he like you? I always wonder that when you see people on social or on YouTube, you're like, how do they become good? Are they just good because they got good, or are they like professionally trained to be good? And that's, I think, it's so cool, like, having you on the show, because I'm like, I didn't know, like, you're an instructor, right? Like, you have like all this stuff, and I'm like, holy crap! No wonder this guy gives like good. Not only do you make good videos, but like you make good instruction videos that are fast, that are entertaining, and that like you're not just full of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, this is how you hit a clean shot or something stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like you actually are teaching somebody in that 35 or 45-second reel or short or whatever it might be. And I think that's cool. And you have good graphics, by the way.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
Stand
Yeah,
out.
that's like what separates me from a lot of other people. I feel like it's just I have like this huge amount of knowledge, like of golf. Like back to I was since 5 years old, I started playing golf, and all these different coaches that I went to, and so I kind of have an idea of all these different styles of how to like coach a person or how to like tell a person what to do, and so I could kind of compartmentalize like all these lessons that I've gotten over the years and kind of pick and choose what I think works and like what I think people will kind of gravitate towards. And basically it helps a lot that I've been coached by one of the best coaches in the history of golf too. So not all this stuff is from my own knowledge. Like,
yeah, but you know it though. That's a difference. It's not like you're looking at a syllabus or watching someone else's video or something. Like, oh, that's how I teach. That's how I teach this guy how to do whatever. It's like you're already a fantastic player. You've been trained by the best. So it's like I already know how to fix that, or I know what the problem is. So let me just teach you quickly how to fix that or how to show you or whatever.
For sure.
Which I don't know who else is really doing it like that. I can't think of somebody. There's probably somebody. I mean, I know there's lots of instructors on social media, but I mean, you've grown pretty quickly, haven't you? Like, when did you start all this?
Started like a year ago, man. Like,
shut up, for reals?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's nuts.
Last year, like kind of like during the PGA show of last year. So it's kind of like when I started, like maybe actually in December of 2020 is when I started, like officially. And then,
so what were you doing? So you were just teaching before that, like as an instructor, or what were you doing before you got into social media? Not social media, into content creation.
Teaching and playing golf professionally.
Like as a pro or as an amateur, just playing like tournaments and crap?
Pro, just playing like mini tour events. You know, they cost a lot of fucking money though. Like, dude, they're like $500, $600 an event, and you don't even make like. If you win, you get like $5,000, but like that sounds great, right? But you have to shoot like 62s, bro. Like, I wasn't shooting 62s, so
I can do that. Yeah, right. I'm like Mario Golf or something. Maybe I'm like PGA Tour for the Xbox or whatever it's called. I can maybe do that.
I can shoot 62 on the front. I'm just kidding. But
I can do that on a par 3 Muni course. I can easily shoot 62 on the front 9, no problem.
Yeah, so like I was shooting like 72s and like 70s, which is like a respectable score, right? But it's like, dude, you're not getting anything.
You're not gonna win. You're like in the middle of the pack, right? It's like
if that, like crazy, like how good these guys
are.
I
needed you this weekend, dude. I played in this golf tournament this weekend for True Linkswear, and like I could have had you on because if I had you with me, I probably would have done a lot better. We would have had a lot of fun too, probably.
Oh, dude,
and we could have shot content. Next time we'll do that.
I'll scramble partner, man. I just kind of just send it. Like I hit the ball as far as I can whenever I play scrambles.
Really? So we did like best ball for. We played 4 rounds of golf. We did best ball for 3, and we did a skins game for 1. Okay. And like, it was pretty cool. I mean, I'm terrible. Like I'm a 16, so I'm not good, but like, the people are all like 8s and 9s, and there's a big difference between an 8 and a 16. It's like I missed that putt. My ball goes out in the desert, but
yeah, those events are pretty fun though. I played like PJ Memes event and stuff. Those are usually a good time. And some like here and there, some charity events too,
So like when you go to a charity event or to like a PJ Memes event, like, are you comped or do you have to kind of pay for your stuff, or is it kind of a little bit of both? Like,
yeah, it's comps, like the events comps, and it depends if I'm like working with a brand. They usually would pay for like the flight and hotel and whatnot. But if I'm not, then I would have to pay for the flight and hotel and the event.
They'll give you the free golf. Yeah, they'll give you the event, but they're not going to give you. You have to pay for your own room. And
yeah, dude, I haven't paid for a round of golf since like I don't know when, because I went straight from like junior golf, right, getting paid by your parents or whatever, and then college golf, you don't pay for shit, and then like professional golf, here and there. I mean, you have to pay for everything in professional golf, but you sometimes have like sponsors and stuff, which I had this one sponsor, or back backer right out of college, investor, whatever you want to call it. And then I went from that to coaching at this golf course. So I didn't really have to pay for that. And then straight into influencing, whatever you want to call this stuff. So it's pretty funny.
So you were teaching, right? Like
Yeah.
at a golf course. Like you like one of the pros there. Is that what, or you're independent? What were you doing prior to 2021?
I was in
Whatever year it was.
So prior to 2021, I was teaching at a golf course as an independent instructor because I didn't have like any certifications or anything. I just
You
kind
don't
of
want to spend $100,000 on that?
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking stupid. Like you don't need a certification to teach. So I had a lot of recommendations though, like mainly from David Leadbetter, which obviously helps out a lot.
A ton, yeah.
Yeah, if he kind of backs you, then I think everybody kind of shuts up and
We'll
says like,
listen. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
like, oh, okay, it's not. Yeah, he has to be good.
exactly. So I was
Was that in
coaching.
Sarasota?
Yeah, Sarasota here.
Okay.
Yeah, so was coaching there for a little bit and playing golf as well. And then kind of just doing some Instagram stuff. I kind of started Instagram because I was like, I saw like the fitness people and like health instructors or fitness instructors kind of do kind of the same thing as what I ended up eventually doing. And I'm like, I never see this in the golf industry. Like, what if I could take this like idea?
Explain. Yeah, I want to hear about this. This is cool.
So like the fitness routines, right? Like how to get a bigger chest. And like that's their hook, right? And I never really saw that for golf, like how to be better chipper around the greens or how to hit a flop shot or how to hit a low punch shot. Here's are your 3 steps to how to hit a low punch shot. Like here's are your 3 things to focus on and how to get a bigger chest. Like I took that idea
Template.
conceptually,
Yeah.
I kind of just shifted it to the golf industry to where I followed a bunch of these fitness influencers, and a lot of them did exactly what I do right now. It's like have crazy colors, big pop-up graphics that end up cutting into the video, right? Very quick, very to the point. A 3-second hook, which would grab and gravitate the audience right away. And so I just kind of like, I was like, no one's doing this for golf. And I kind of just growing up in golf, like the whole industry is generally behind like 3 to 5 years. And I'm like, eventually,
More than that. I think it's more than that, but I agree. They're like, yeah, it's like the dinosaur age. Like, I mean, like, honestly, let's be real. Like, this is the first year. Now they're like supporting like YouTube channels and like signing contracts. Like, bro, really?
Right.
Now you do it? What the fuck,
Yeah,
dude? YouTube's been something for like forever.
for sure. And I kind of like just being in golf, being in that whole space, I kind of knew that eventually it'll get to where it is today. And I don't know, I just saw something, I just went with my gut, bro. Like, I don't know.
So, did you start first on Instagram or TikTok?
TikTok.
And would you test that theory or that video on TikTok first, and then just move it over to YouTube or Instagram to see if it would do the same thing or what?
Yeah, exactly. And like, I didn't really grow that much until they came out with like the reels on Instagram. And that's like when I really fucking started to skyrocket. Like I grew like 70,000 in a month, which is fucking nuts.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, like maybe like not that, maybe like,
But even still, like,
maybe like 2 or 3 months, but it was like, it was a lot like over this last summer actually. So I need to start picking it up here. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. So
you're at 100 and what now? Like 105 or 110 on Instagram?
yeah,
You don't even
113, but
know.
who's counting? I'm just kidding. But
Yeah, you look every day. You know you do.
yeah, I know I do. I went from like, dude, in June, July. I remember vividly. I passed 50K, and then I quickly went up to 100K in like mid August, mid to late August. So it was like that big of a jump that quick because all the reels I've been producing from the help of like TikTok and figuring out what works on them on that side of the platform, and just kind of taking advantage how vulnerable Instagram was, because Instagram was afraid they'll lose all their audience to TikTok. So they started to kind of like push
Push
all the
it.
videos that did well on TikTok onto Instagram, you know? So I got kind of lucky that I was doing it for a little bit before.
Yeah, but also you were doing a good job. It wasn't like you were just posting garbage and it was like, oh, I got lucky, I got 50,000 views. It was like you already made a really good product that you knew would convert
Yeah,
whatever that conversion is, right? Because you've tested it, but it's not crap. You know what I mean? It's like it fits the mold, I guess, for a reel or for a short, and
for
that's a
sure.
special mold.
Yeah, and it's also like right place, right time too. I feel like a lot of that stuff is big with social media. Like if I started YouTube like 3 or 4 years ago, or 2 years ago, or even when I started, I'd probably have a lot more subscribers than I do right now. But it's just um, and it was just a really big boom in 2021 with the whole golf world. Like post COVID, like golf just freaking skyrocketed. Like I'm sure you've seen it. Um, around like the whole industry.
COVID, post COVID, yeah, the
Post
year
COVID.
after COVID.
Yeah.
So you test out. So like that's so cool. Like this is the love of the show, right? So really, you saw the content, but just in a different genre, right?
Yeah.
Fitness. And you're like, what? No one's doing a good version of this in golf. And it was true. No one is. I mean, you'd have like the golf instructors, at some rinky dink course being like, I got a flop shot. And then it'd be like not filmed well. It would be
Yeah.
like 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
It would not be edited. There'd be no graphics. And then people would watch that. And Instagram's not going to push it. TikTok's not going to push it. No one's
No,
watching it.
it's
And it
boring
could
as
be
fuck.
great instruction. It could be
Yeah.
amazing instruction. But like,
100%. And that's the
it's like you
problem too
take
with instructors. Like I was able to take advantage of this as well. Is like everyone is so careful to being like perfect, and in the golf instruction world, like they just always want to be right. Which like the golf swing, like you could swing a million different ways and be correct. Like, and I feel like everyone was so afraid to kind of just, I don't know, like just be out there and kind of be different from everybody else and not be so correct and not be so clean cut and professional. Like you see a lot of like instructors now, like um, Dave Finks. I think I've seen him. He lives in like LA or San Diego, and he's a very like cool like instructor, and he curses in his videos, and you would never ever see that like 2 or 3 years ago, like ever. But now it's like it's helping a lot of people get into the game, which I like, and just growing the game.
So so you started doing that in like what, like in January, February of last year? Is that when you kind
That's
of really started your
December of 2020. Let's call it that. Yeah.
in 20? So like 2 years ago then.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 years ago.
No, 21. It'd be 21 because 20 there's no PGA show. So that'd have been 21.
Right.
Um so no, it'd be 22. It was like a year and a half ago, right? It had to have been because you just started. You had 50,000 in like 6 months, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
when did
Already.
brands started noticing you?
I got my first deal last year, and that's kind of how I ended up quitting my coaching job.
Because you're
Is
making enough on the brand deal?
No, no, not at
Oh.
all, not at all. And
we'll,
so
talk, we'll talk about that offline.
no, so Proud 90, shout out to them. They were
Yeah, they're
huge.
cool as hell.
They were huge in my like kind of just jump into the content space. They reached out back in like this time of last year, and they were hosting like a bunch of these creators to live in this like content house in Boca Raton. And
So who was in his house?
it was me, Busted Jack, Cannon Davies, who's Golf Guy 69 on TikTok and Instagram, and Sam Jagoda, who's like huge on TikTok. He does like the mini golf stuff and a lot of other fun content. And so we all they paid for everything. They paid for the Airbnb that we stayed in. So we all stayed in there for
I
like a
saw
month.
this. Oh, is that what it was? It was a month? I
Yeah,
saw this. I was like, oh shit, this is cool.
yeah, for a whole month. And I was like, damn, I could not. I really want to do this, and I can't work and also do this. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just quit. And so I quit, and I was able to go over there, and I had a blast. And that's honestly, I think, was a main
I
component
think
of.
that's the first time I saw you. It was in one of Sam's videos, and it was like a chipping game, and I saw you with your hat on. I think it's the first time I saw you. Because I
Oh,
saw
really?
Busted Jack too, and I was like, oh, and I saw Busted Jack was like before that, just on YouTube, and I'm like, oh man, these guys are doing some good content, and it seemed pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's the first time I think I saw you was in one of those reels that he did, or shorts or something.
they're blowing up too, which is dope.
That's the interesting thing. Let's talk about that for a minute. Like YouTube, like okay, it's like Busted Jack. I'm a huge fan. I love how they blew up too because they started like in the fall of 21, I think, is when they started doing their first couple of videos, and that's a really hard um area to be in. I feel like as a golf person is like on course, like you're competing with good, right? Let's just be honest. And for
Yeah,
the way that they're doing such a great job, they're growing, like that's awesome, and the content's really good. And now they're doing more collabs with like other people, and I think
they did
that's
fucking
huge.
collab with
I
like
love seeing that.
Allen or whatever. Like it was
What's
nuts.
that?
So they did a video with Josh Allen the other day. Like that's crazy, bro. Like
I know, right? It's like
insane.
I don't know. That's just cool that like some people think like, oh, it's impossible to get seen or to grow my channel or whatever it is, but it's not. Like it just shows you like you can still compete against the Bob Does Sports or the Good Goods or whoever else does, some of those British ones that I never watch. But and they're it's good content. They're doing a good job. It's awesome content.
Yeah, there's enough. It's a big pie, and it's only growing and getting bigger and bigger. And there's enough pieces for everybody. I feel like to all be successful. Like if like 2 or 3 people are like really successful, there's no reason why you can't get a little bit of that piece of that pie, which is a good amount of pie still. Like if you just have a little bit of what good has, that's a good amount, and you can make a living off that and play golf for the rest of your life. And
Have
that's kind of,
fun.
yeah, exactly. Do what you love to do. And that's what I'm trying to do is I eventually want to get to that place to where I'm one of the biggest creators in the world, but at the meantime, I'm pretty damn happy where I'm at right now. Just a little bit of piece of that pie.
Well, yeah, I mean, because like you're different, right? So you're making entertaining content, but you know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not like you're a hack and then you're trying to like make entertaining content. It's like, well, and I think that's a big thing too, but you still, it's enjoyable to watch and you're getting something out of that content. The person is who's watching it.
Yeah, that's my whole thing too, is try to like give as much value as possible to my audience. Like I want to give them a reason to follow me, and I don't want it to just be entertainment. Like, of course, like I want people to get to know me, get to know my personality, and be entertained. But I also want them to leave like that post or that video that I post on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it may be, with some sort of value, some sort of like something that they got out of the video.
Well, that's the key. I think it's the key word you just said is value. Like you're giving value in the video. It's not just entertainment, right? It's like there's a value that is entertaining, which I think a majority of reels that are out there don't perform well, don't have that. They're missing some element, right? Either it's not shot well. I also think the reels have changed a lot in the last 6 months. I don't know if you've seen this too on Instagram, but like it's like I read an article the other day about how Facebook was like losing money on reels like crazy. Like they lost like almost like $1.2 billion or something crazy last year on reels because it's hard to sell advertising on a reel because it doesn't last that long. So losing all that advertising revenue that they would get like on a regular stream. Which is probably why, like, do you remember last year when like Instagram was like giving bonuses and crap like that? Like, oh, if you hit so much money, we'll give you $1,200. I mean, I got like $200 or maybe $100 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it was like nothing.
Yeah.
But
Facebook was doing that too for a little bit, like giving you money to post on Facebook, but they pulled it like within the last month or so.
my buddy was telling me that's like 4 or 5 years ago. Like Facebook wanted him to move. Like when Facebook was trying to put video on Facebook, They paid him 10 grand to like move over a lot of his old YouTube videos onto Facebook. It was like 5 years ago. I was like, seriously? And all he do was like re-upload it. It was all they were doing. He did it. I mean, I don't know what happened to that. Like no one watches Facebook videos. Like
no one's on Facebook these days.
no one's on Facebook. My grandma is.
I know. I was about to say my grandma's on Facebook.
I'm never on Facebook. I've been on Facebook in like 10 years.
Dude, I would cringe so hard reading like those status updates. I'm sure like probably I have some probably really dumb ones back in the day.
You thought you're like so cool, like just hanging at the pool, or something really dumb, and then you're like, no one cares.
AMA, TBH. I think you're cute. 10.
So which platform do you like to use more, TikTok or Instagram?
I like Instagram. I think TikTok has gone more casual these days, I think.
What do you mean by casual?
Like you don't have to be so perfect and like worry about.
It could be a terrible TikTok and it'll do well, and you're like, what the hell? Like,
yeah,
exactly. No effort into it.
Yeah, like I spent like fucking like 5 hours in the Star Wars one that I did the other day, and it did well on Instagram, right? But on TikTok, it didn't do shit. So I'm like, and
did you edit those all yourself?
Oh yeah, I edit everything myself. Like it takes forever.
Wow.
But
some good skills, dude. Did you learn all that yourself? Like you said, teach yourself how to do it?
Yeah, I just taught myself, kind of downloaded a couple apps and watched.
You know what I think is really cool about Busted Jack? Busted Jack did a video like early on, and it was I watched it because I was learning how to try to edit my own stuff, and he did a video on how did he edits and puts lines on balls, and I was like, that's a really cool thing to do when you're a content creator and you're like trying to show people like, hey, this is how we're doing it if you're trying to do it too, like early on, and like a lot of people don't share that knowledge. It's like, oh, we'll figure it out. We'll go hire some dude. It's like,
yeah, it's really dope.
That's cool. That's like mad props to them. Like I saw that. Like we watched it. I mean, I did.
Yeah, I did too. Or I was actually with him when he posted that video, which is kind of
really
funny. Yeah, very funny. And Jack Cole is his actual name. He's the one that edits all the videos for them, and he does a great job. He went to like school for that kind of stuff, and he did like a whole high school class as well. So he definitely knows what he's doing, and that's kind of where I was behind very early on. And I was very overwhelmed when I was like living with all those guys, because all those guys knew how to use Adobe, and I was just editing shit on my like phone. I was using Video Leap, the Video Leap app on my phone to edit everything, and I was like, damn, I need to learn how to use Adobe Pro Premiere. And so I looked up on YouTube and I found this like 12-hour course that gave you like all these different assets to download, and you kind of worked with them, which was very helpful. And that's kind of how I just learned how to use Adobe. So it was kind of funny.
That's amazing.
How to post on YouTube.
That's what it is. Like there's enough free information out there to do a good job. As you guys can see, like he didn't know. I mean, he knew golf, and he's like, hey, there's a missing element here. I mean, we were talking earlier before, like you film yourself, right? And let's say some big collab and they have a second shooter and you don't have to worry about it. But a majority of your content is just you, right?
Yeah, just me and my script and my little notepad that I write down a bunch of shit.
You use a phone or you use your camera? I use a camera.
I alternate between the two. So like it depends. Like if I'm filming a YouTube video, I use a camera. If I'm filming a like kind of an Instagram or TikTok, I'd use a phone. Phones are great these days, man. They film in 4K. In Florida, you just have to worry about it overheating in the summers. But other than that, it's pretty good.
Well, it's super easy to edit too, right? Like if you just want like this clip, you just go into your phone and go cut, and it's done. Yeah. You do that in Premiere Pro, that takes you 10 minutes. Like
yeah, exactly.
Like it takes you 2 seconds, and you get all your pieces together. I guess it's faster when you're putting the video together, but so are you now moving into long form content? Is that your next goal?
Yeah, so my goal is to kind of have more of a sustainable income. And I kind of realized like kind of early on, or not early on, but like realized this like 5 months ago or something, but that most of the successful people that are kind of doing this long term are all like their primary audiences on YouTube. So that's going to be my goal for this year. Is I want to get to 100K subs. So everyone go sub right now. No, I'm just kidding. But so I kind of want more of a guaranteed, like, okay, if I make this amount of videos per month, then I'll get this amount of dollars, so I could kind of like not rely on like brand deals or whatever it may be to kind of continue to eat, and and that's my goal for this year, is to focus on YouTube and to eventually kind of be a YouTube golfer.
So your real move is like long form YouTube. Like that's what you want to get your videos. Like it's cool to have the reels or the shorts. Now, are you moving your shorts onto YouTube? Of course you are. I can see it on your channel.
A little bit here and there. I
Why
find
aren't you putting more on here?
I find like you said, or like we were talking earlier, like YouTube kind of puts you in a box, And one of my buddies, Sam Jagoda, is massive on YouTube, and he posts all his shorts there. But if
millions of views, you guys, like millions of views.
Yeah, like millions of views, like
millions of views on shorts, like legit.
Really fucking well. But once he posts like a long form video, it only gets like 1,000 views.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Crazy. Because like YouTube puts you in like a box, like, okay, Sam's like the short form content creator. And so they're not going to push any of his long form stuff out there, which is unfortunate, because he does make some really good, he's a very good editor, and he makes some great videos. But I want, and you get more money if you are more successful on long form videos because you have more ads.
Yeah, I mean, like the multiplier is like way higher. I mean, you'll make jack shit on shorts. Like you make like pennies, right, per views. Like it's so. I mean, you can look on YouTube and see the same information. Like it's all there. Doesn't matter who the creator is. Like it's such a small. It's like a minuscule amount versus the long form. The value of that RPM is like super low.
Yeah, 100%.
It's kind of unfortunate.
It is.
And also the other problem too is the shorts. Is that like YouTube said that they're two different algorithms. So like the algorithm for shorts is different from the algorithm for long form. So like you could have a bazillion people on shorts, but like that doesn't mean that the same bazillion people are ever going to see your long form, because they're two separate like categories or something.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So that's the problem. So like even though you're crushing on shorts and you have like however many subscribers from shorts, like you got to do, it's almost like my opinion is you have to do both. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like where I feel like you get the most street cred is on your long form. Any brand can go look at your long form and be like, oh, you don't get shit for views. So like, why would I give this to you? Like no one's gonna watch it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, I'll do a short. Okay, cool. We'll get 1 million views on the short. Okay, but how are they gonna buy it? Like, I don't know. I feel like that's the hard part. That for content creators, because it's two separate things, right? Like you should be getting, if you have 1 million people from shorts, let's pretend, like you should be getting a ton of views on your long form, you would think, but it doesn't show it to the same audience. Yeah, that's right. That's all the videos I've watched. They've all said that. I was like, shit, really?
It's pretty wild. And I like editing and filming longer form content, just because you can kind of be a little bit more laid back and like kind of like show more of like who you are, and not have to worry about like fitting all this information into like a minute-long video. You can kind of like prolong it and kind of take your time, and you're kind of just chilling with the audience, chilling with the people that are watching your video. And I feel like people get to know you a lot more when it comes to that long form content,
What's your, okay, so I'm on your YouTube channel right now, which, I mean, your thumbnails are really good, dude. Like really good. Are you doing your thumbnails, or do you have somebody doing them for you? Yeah, there's no way you're doing your thumbnails yourself. Unless you're a graphic designer. I'm like, that's some good thumbnails.
Yeah, I got a guy. I actually did the one that I posted today myself because he was busy with he films.
But still good.
He films and edits for Good. So I got one of those guys.
Oh wow,
a little insider. But so he helps me a lot with thumbnails and titles. So like I said, like we were talking earlier, like that's like 95% of your success rate on YouTube. So I'm like, dude, if I could just nail down the title and thumbnail, like my video could be like dog shit, and I could still grow, you know. So and my videos aren't dog shit like that, but I'm just saying, like, if they were, then I would still be
Are
able to.
you doing your editing for your YouTube videos?
Yeah, everything.
Wow, they're good, man. I mean,
Thank you.
good like text and like everything. Um, did you also come up with the design for like when you do your encore shit, you have like your little like scorecard thing in the upper right hand corner?
Yeah, so I yes and no kind of thing. Like I was watching some Rick Shields stuff, and I like took bits and pieces of what worked for him, and kind
A
of
better version of it.
brought it on over to my version. And I was like, okay, this works for him, and he's the biggest creator on YouTube, right? So obviously, there's a reason why it works. And I was just kind of switched it up here and there. It's almost like plagiarizing, but you kind of make it into
Not
your
really.
own words, you know. As long as you do that, then you kind of fly under the radar for all the teachers out there.
So, I mean, you've done a lot of videos, dude. That's a crazy. I
I
mean,
try, I try to get two. I'm trying to get 3 a week, but it's just so much to like edit and do all this other shit that I'm doing, like traveling and whatnot. So like it's mainly been like 2 a week. But I just know, like, if you pump up enough volume, eventually I feel like YouTube is gonna be like, okay, we'll let this guy grow, kind of thing, you know. Same as Instagram, same as TikTok. You know, you just gotta push it.
did you know that these old reels that you have, like if it's why is it on there? That's so weird. Some of these old reels you have like are showing up in your videos feed, but it should be in the shorts feed. It's so weird that like it didn't move it. Now I know it automatically does it. If it's more than a minute long, it'll push it to your videos tab.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
But like you have something like 9 seconds long or 10 seconds long, and it's still in your video. That's weird. I mean, and that's not a here or there. I'm just surprised to see that they didn't move it over. You know, because like at least you could have all your like videos looking the same, right? Like the title and thumbnail and cover and everything.
Yeah.
That's one thing I hated about shorts last year is like you post a long form and then you post a short and it looked like your whole like feed would look like shit because it'd be like long form, short, 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 long form. It's all like a hodgepodge. But
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
thinking
even know
around
how
Christmas
to change
time.
that, bro. I need to figure
What's
out how to.
that?
I said I need to figure out how to change that. You know.
Yeah, I don't know why it's just like that. It's weird. I mean, just your old stuff for like a year ago, way down far. All your new stuff looks great. So maybe I don't know. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I haven't been
Sorry.
shorts in a while, so
But I mean,
I
your thumbnails look amazing. Your titles are great. I
thank
mean,
you.
I feel like you're getting awesome views here. I mean, you guys like he's getting like 3 to 10,000 views in like a week for that's really good when it's not like a
Already now,
product
yeah,
based
yeah,
thing. They're watching you for you. They're not watching you on the product, right? They're watching to see what you're doing.
yeah. I'd like to think so, at least, you know.
So do you have like a lot of so like this next year, like what do you have going on? Like what big maybe any big collabs happening or what's going on?
um, so I'm partnered with Mizuno right now, so we're scheduling like a bunch of trips with the guys on tour, like Keith, Ben Griffin, Grayson Sig, Luke Donald, all those big namers, you know. And I'm gonna play like a bunch of golf with them, shoot a bunch of content with them. So that's gonna come up here after the golf season, so like in September, October area. So I'm really excited for
That's a
that.
big deal, dude. Like
Dude,
that's huge.
a big step, yeah. That's a big step, and that's gonna just, I think, put me over the top. I think for YouTube space, and we're gonna create a lot of cool shorts. Like, don't get me wrong, we're gonna create a lot of good like reels and TikToks and stuff from that as well. But from the YouTube standpoint, that's gonna be awesome, I think. And then I'm going to the U.S. Open, which is very exciting. In June, it's my first ever major that I'm going to go to. Believe it or not, like I've been playing golf for 20 plus years, and this is my first major that I've ever been to. So really excited for that out in LA.
Are you gonna make content around that?
Yeah, so I'm going like for Mizuno. I'm gonna follow all the Mizuno guys and kind of like shoot with them and kind of like kind of behind the scenes stuff of the U.S. Open.
Do you
So
get to film that yourself, or are you gonna get help? You think get help on that? I'm
I know, I
assuming,
think I do
right?
need to get help. I want to bring my brother out for that.
Do it, dude. Because you know how hard you're not gonna be able to like interact. You're gonna be too busy trying to like get the angle and check the
Yeah,
mics and all that stuff. Like,
you're
just
right.
you can find somebody in LA. I bet. You know what I mean? Like, just put on your social and be like, "Hey, I'm coming to LA looking that video me. I bet you'll find somebody to do it for like free.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I have a lot
US
of
Open, you have a lot of friends too. So
I used to live out there.
yeah, like exactly.
Yeah,
I would do
so
that, or have your brother do it and get him paid.
yeah. I'll get him paid by like Mizuno or something. That'd be dope.
That's cool. So you have that. I mean,
yeah, that coming up. Yeah, that and some more collabs for the Charles Schwab Classic in late May. I think, dude, so many people are going to that. They're like Grant, Micah, Busted Jack, Mac Boucher, like all those dope guys that make awesome content. They're all going to be there. So we're all going to get together and do something in Dallas, Texas area. So that's really exciting. And yeah, man, like I said, I just try to take it like day by day because there's so
opportunity by opportunity.
If I were to schedule shit out, like I would get so overwhelmed, like, and I would like just kind of stack pile a bunch of content, and I wouldn't even have enough time to freaking edit all of this, man. Like, I still have like I'm still waiting on videos or still holding on videos from like last month that I still need to edit and get out. Like I did a video with George Bryant. That's going to be a really cool video.
Oh, that's going to be a huge video, dude. That's going to get 100,000 views, I bet.
Hopefully. We did like a match at his own course, so that'll be pretty sweet. And
that's going to do really well. Guarantee that'll do really well.
And another video with the British Am champ, Joe Lawn. He is sponsored by Mizuno, and he's on like the European tour and stuff. So we played a match in Georgia. So those two videos, I think, are going to do very well. And still, I'm going to post the Joe Lawn one actually this week, and then the George Bryant one next week. So be on the lookout for that, y'all.
That's going to do really well. Anyway, I mean, that's going to do really, I already know. Like, see, like, I feel like you're right. Like, I feel like your short form content is always going to do well. Like that, let's take that completely out of the equation right now. Mm-hmm. But I think with your long form and like with the relationships you've built over the last couple of years and the brands you're working with, like you're right. You're like a rocket ship about to take off. You know what I mean? Like you're rumbling and it's all getting ready to go. And like, you know, it's like, it's going to hit. And once YouTube sees that, it's going to be like one of those, like same thing you saw on social media, because you're not playing golf with some nobody dude, right? Like I'm playing here at some uni with some guy I just met. Like nobody cares about that. Like you're playing with like big name people or big social media people or influencers that like people want to watch, right? So I think it's really cool.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Yeah, you kind of have to treat it like it's its own platform, you know? Like just because I have 100,000 Instagram and TikTok doesn't mean I'm automatically going to get crazy amount of subscribers on YouTube. You know what I mean? So it takes a little bit to get warmed up to the algorithm, but once you're in it, I feel like you're going to be in it for a long time.
But you're already starting to see it with the content you've already created. Like you can just see it in the last couple of months. Like you're getting the views, you know? So, I mean, you're doing all the right things. Your thumbnails look great. It's just a matter of when it gets recognized. I feel like not so much that the content's not there. It's just you're not given a chance yet. If that makes sense, you know?
No, you're totally right. Like, yeah, just all amount of the reps. Like, just like in golf, like you got to hit like 1,000 balls in order to improve this little part of your golf swing, you know? And you just got to be patient. Even though you're going to hit some bad shots out there, you still got to keep plugging away at it, keep doing the reps, keep just knowing, trusting in your ability, trusting what you're working on is correct. And eventually you're going to get to where you want to get. So I take a lot of stuff that I learned from golf and kind of bring it towards this aspect of my life as well.
Have you ever thought about like hiring somebody to edit for you at this point? Because you're getting so busy with all these like.
I mean, that's like my number one goal is to like eventually get to a place where I could hire somebody to.
Just an editor, like that's step one, right? Because you know you can film your own stuff, but like at least just give them the dump files and be like, here, make it look like this. Like here's all my other ones or something.
Yeah, an editor is that's priority number one. Priority number like 1B would be like a videographer and editor, just because it's a lot easier to like tell him like because he's going to be like right there with you, so he kind of knows how the videos.
Yeah, who's like invested in what you're doing and knows what's happening, not like, oh, here's all the files and then explain to them what the concept is.
yeah, by that point, I could like edit it myself, you know, like that back and
Yeah,
forth.
you're just about. Yeah, like it's not even worth your time.
Yeah, that back and forth takes quite a bit, or at least somebody like that lives in your city rather than like kind of a remote editor to where you can kind of like work on it together. One of those, but that's the priority number one goal is like once I make a good amount of money, then that I can feel comfortable investing in that sort of thing, then I'm definitely going to do that. Right now, I'm just scraping away right now.
Yeah, but I mean, you're making really good content, dude. Like that's like not. I mean, I know it's gonna happen. I mean, it's
Oh
like
yeah,
it's
it's
like
gonna
they
happen.
just like it's gonna happen. Like I'm not just saying that. I'm like I really think it will
No, I
happen. Like
know.
sooner than
Yeah,
you think. Like, and I think that I mean, for me, I think that's what I would probably focus on is getting the editor first, just so you could just free up your time and have no like
yeah.
all that
You put
shit.
more videos out. Is
So your
what it
summers, I mean, it sounds like your summer's super busy, right? And you're gonna make a lot of content, and then you're gonna be behind on your content, and then you're like, because you're gonna want to go from making 2 a week to 3 a week on YouTube, right? Because you have so
yeah.
much content that's good, that's relatable, but like you don't want to release a US Open video in like September, like no one cares
No.
about that. But like you're gonna want to drop that first, right? So that's gonna be the next video. Even I don't know, like for example, like when I was at the PGA show. I shot some content on the Rapsodo, right? Because I knew they were launching it, so I went and I filmed it, do whatever,
Mhm.
and like I was really excited to see that because you know what happened was like at an early morning meeting at the show, and I'm like, oh, I bet something cool's coming out. I was all excited, so like I got them the first booth I went to, and I filmed it really fast, and it was really terrible, right? But that night I had it all uploaded to my editor and we've dropped it the next morning. So like 24 hours later, it's the worst video I've ever filmed in my entire life. But
Oh,
because everybody wanted to know about the unit and there's no
yeah.
information on it, I had like this 4-minute video or whatever, and it freaking blew up, dude. Like it had like
Oh,
15,000 views by like the end of the day. And I was like, holy crap. And it wasn't even a good video. So it's almost like that. I'm saying this because it's about timing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so I think like
you're right.
or like if you know like Luke Donaldson wins something, it's like, oh, then you drop that video, right? So
Yeah,
that's like, oh look, like
yeah.
I don't know, like, but I think the hardest part is just do you feel like the hardest part for any content creator would be just keeping up with the pace, really?
I'd say the hardest part is to stay patient. I think like even like and like kind of staying in your own lane, if that makes sense. Like just because like so and so is doing this or so and so is growing like this much on his video that he just posted doesn't mean that you should like beat yourself up about it and like just kind of at the end of the day you just got to kind of focus on yourself, you know, like worry about what you need to do, worry about your day-to-day operations and trust the process. It sounds weird to say, but trust your
No,
own
it's like
process and know what
golf,
you're
right?
doing
Just
like correct and not worry about everybody else. And if whatever you do, if you do the correct things and you do them well and you do it timely, then you're gonna be rewarded by your outsiders, by your followers, by your viewers, by your peers. You know, so that's the hardest part is to kind of like be
that's
patient
good.
with
That's
everything.
that's really good. I think a lot of people want to be content creators, but they don't know how hard it is, right? And then
Yeah,
also like you have to be like not only true to yourself, but to like what you're working on, and like in your head know that it's gonna work at some point. And maybe it's different. Maybe you take a different spin on the game or whatever you're doing. Like it
yeah,
still could. It's just because it's different doesn't mean it's not gonna work. It might work because people want that content, right? Like
100%.
you can see that with what you're doing, what Stan is doing, what Blessed Jack is doing. Everyone's doing different kind of content, but it's like that content didn't exist 2 years ago, right? But people are obviously watching it. So it's
100%.
like that's what they wanted. So it's like, but you had to create that content. You had to have the idea to make that content, knowing in your head that, hey, this is pretty fun or this is cool stuff. I think people would want to watch it. I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, there was no good, right? Now they're like huge. Only look at old Rick Shields videos, like he did product reviews, right? That was like his first,
Yeah,
most of and then it's like now you can do whatever. That's the thing too. I think with the algorithm, when you're big enough, you can do whatever the hell you want because the algorithm's like, oh yeah, we have the audience for you. So if Rick Shield does a product review and the next video he does is like playing golf against some dude, and then something good, and then he like it's
hmm
okay, But I think when you're a new creator, I think you have to stay in your lane. I just do like That's what I
Yeah,
feel like.
you're probably right with that. Yeah, honestly, until you eventually get to a place where you can kind of branch off and be a little bit more risky with your content.
I was talking to a content creator once for YouTube, and they said that what they do is they do like 1 for me, 3 for you. So do like one video, like if you were to go into like product review, let's pretend, like you do one product review video because that's not your audience, right? But then you'll do 3 of what you normally do, and then do another product review, or you start trying it because you're just testing the algorithm to see like it's not going to
Yeah,
screw up your cycle, I guess.
that makes
But
sense.
I was like, that's a good idea. I've never tried it like that, but
Good idea.
I might. I don't know. I think everybody wants to kind of do what you're doing, though. I think people want to do the on course. People want to do the playing. Like everybody wants that. I just do. Like that's the best part, right? I
Yeah,
think
it's
like
most fun.
well, it's fun.
That's kind of like
Well,
I I started out with instructional stuff, of course, right? Just because I knew that that would probably work, and I eventually kind of like shifted towards like more on course stuff, like because that's like it's just more fun for me. And I'm like, if I'm gonna continue to do this, I want to have fun, and I want to
so
enjoy
when
it.
if you do like an instructional piece, let's call it, and you're at
Yeah.
a like how do you let's say you're gonna play 18 holes. Do you have on your notepad like I'm gonna do an instructional piece on a flop shot, a sand, hitting out of the sand, how to hit a stinger, or like you just go and you just film the whole thing and then you like come up with the content.
No, so I have it all planned out before. Like I'm like, okay, I want to post this Monday, this Tuesday, this Wednesday, this Thursday, this Friday of next week. I'm gonna make all my content and kind of just post it all and make sure I get it all done. I do like a couple takes as well. Like it's not all first take, of course,
Oh no,
and
no, no.
make sure you explain it correctly. Make sure the shot was good first and foremost, um, and then you eventually like
You like
post
top it and you're like, oh, I can't use that shot.
yeah, yeah. Let me show you guys how to hit a flop shot. You just blade it across the green. No, I was kidding. But yeah, exactly. You plan it all out before, or I plan it all out before. I bring like a couple outfits too, just to like make it look like it's more than one
Different
day
day.
of work. Um,
Smart.
and yeah, a couple takes, and you just kind of in the post production editing process, you kind of pick out what areas of the video that you like and kind of see if you could throw it all together to a viral video, hopefully.
Smart. That's cool, man. Well, I mean, I'm really happy I got to meet you like at the show and I ran into you. Like I said, I was already a fan, and I'm really glad you came on the show today just to kind of like tell me all about who you are and where you're going. You guys gotta follow on social media. Like it's good content, and you definitely have to subscribe to his YouTube channel because like I see your YouTube. I feel like you'll get 100K probably within a year on YouTube.
Yeah,
That's what I think. That's my prediction. Like you'll get your silver within a year. That's what I think.
I think so too. Just as long as I continue to do the work and, like I said earlier, like trust it and not worry about the results, and just continue to plug away, then good things will happen.
Yeah, like not get pissed off. Like, oh, I only get like 800
Yeah,
views on this. Like, who cares? Go to the next one.
yeah,
Like, it doesn't
exactly.
matter. Like,
Take it
move
off.
on.
No one cares about your feelings. You know what I mean? That type of thing.
Neither doesn't
Like,
care about you.
oh yeah, no one cares about you. You only care about you. So 100%. I've always been a big advocate of like if you put in the work, you'll get the results that you want. I've lived by that all throughout golf, my golf career, all throughout my work
I mean, I
career.
think you've done that. Like, you proved it today, at least with me, because like you hearing your story, but then like saying like, I had to quit my job to go into the golf hype house or whatever it was called with other guys. Like, had you not done that, like what would have happened? Right? Like you wouldn't have all these relationships with these guys. You wouldn't have
100%.
learned all these new skills. You probably be still teaching over there, making content, have maybe 30,000 followers on Instagram and TikTok, and like, you know what I mean? Like it accelerated your growth because you're around people just like you, right? That were hungry, that were wanting to make cool content. So it's like you said, you got to just be patient. Like somebody once said to me, they're like, somebody said to me like, oh, you're really lucky because of whatever. And I'm like, look, dude, it's not luck. It's about like, what luck is an opportunity meets preparation, right? That's luck. So
Yeah.
like you prepared your whole life for this and the opportunity came and you were ready for it,
Yeah.
and that's it. You spent 6 months before that trying to figure it out. So it's
100%.
like, I think it's really good to hear that from like a content creator to new people being like, look, if you want to do this, like it's still possible. Just got to be true to yourself.
Yeah, and you could still grow like crazy these days just because like don't feel like it's too late, you know? Like you can start now and grow crazy amount of followers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just be focused, right? And just do your thing and get better at it. And when opportunities come, take it. And you might not make any money on it, but it's okay because you're gonna learn something new or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really do appreciate it. This is a long one today, but I had a lot of fun with you.
Dude, thanks for
So
having me, Paul. Appreciate it, man.
we gotta do some content together when you come out to Arizona. Just like
100%.
goof around. Maybe I should get like a lesson from the CEO of golf. That'd be cool. That'd be a good YouTube
Oh,
video.
that would be great. Hit up
Or
Dawson.
we go, yeah, or go do like we go play, against each other. Or we play some. I have all these ideas. I'll tell you about them later. We can do some fun stuff together.
Nice.
But
all right.
Well, thank you for being on the show. Where can people find you?
So it's at CEO of Golf on all social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe, follow, like, DM me. I'll answer anybody that DMs me.
He's cool. He's cool, you guys. Like seriously, he's not a jerk. He's really cool. So like, you need to follow him. That's my PSA for the day. Well, thanks for being on the show, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.
See you guys.